Hey, it's the Vancouver Comic Con, and it's only $4. Welcome to the Hartley Show. Today we're coming at you from the Vancouver Comic Con. They hold these things every 2 months. It's a slightly smaller con. But of course, if you're looking for anything in the world of comic geekery, action figures, DVDs, and of course comics, this is the place for you. All sorts of fantastic deals. It's Don King back there, Don King. All sorts of great obscure old comics. Well, these aren't really obscure. In fact, these are total classics. But if you're looking for great deals, if you're looking for old comics and stuff like that, these cons are absolutely fantastic. And of course, they've always got local comic artists, like that Don King guy you just saw over there. And over here, we've got the sort of the featured comic creator section. We've got a couple local artists here, and Shaun Knowler, who wrote Transformers Jazz, was part of that whole All Hail Megatron series that came out a few years back by Shane McCarthy, a swell guy. Talking to Shaun Knowler, writer of the Transformers Jazz one-shot. That is correct, yeah?
That is correct.
And that was part of the All Hail Megatron series that came out a few years back, yeah?
Yeah, it was.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the stuff you've written in the world of comics and things like that?
Well, pretty much everything I've done is Transformers related at this point. I was one of the co-creators of the Transformers Mosaic project online, which is an online crowdsourced comic strip.
Cool, and can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, basically we created a format for people to submit their comic strips. And it was just, you do a one-page comic book story, and it's like all done in one, and it ended up being very popular. We also hosted through that a Are You the Next Transformers Cover Artist contest. And there's actually a lot of talent working for IDW right now that came through that contest. And yeah, after that, me and my partner Josh Van Rake from Australia, we did all this stuff together over the internet. And that's the one thing nice about comic books, is it's the greatest telecommuting industry that there is. We were invited to contribute some character bios to the movie tie-in called The Reign of Starscream, which is written by our good friend Chris Mowry. Really good guy. And yeah, not too long after that, we submitted the pitch for Spotlight Jazz to tie into All Hail Megatron. And they really liked it, and they gave us a shot.
Did you have any contact with Shane McCarthy, the main writer from All Hail Megatron?
Ironically, Shane is probably the only guy involved with All Hail Megatron that we never actually got a chance to meet or talk to. You know, he was taking things into a pretty bold new direction, and you know, we basically kind of just snowballed from the direction he was going. We really liked that he was bringing jazz to the forefront, because he was always a favorite character of both me and Josh. So we're like, you know, what the hell? Why don't we just see if we can get in on this?
Do you have any future stuff coming up? Anything you're working on now, or aspirations, your goals you're shooting towards?
Well, just kind of, yeah, you know, Ghostbusters is another favorite property of mine, so I wouldn't mind a crack at that. Aside from that, we recently shut down Mosaic, but I know there's a lot of things have sprung out from that and going forward. Hasbro was also really good for us. One time we actually got fan mail from Aaron Archer himself. He's the brand director for Transformers. And to have that kind of thing in your corner when you're doing something that is so, you know, a lot of companies would probably call it dubious when it comes to copywriting and that kind of thing, but we always had that blessing behind us, and it kind of made it something special that you never really saw in any other fandom besides Transformers.
What some of your influence might be?
Well, I grew up on the Uncle Scrooge comics by Carl Barks and Don Rosa. Now, a lot of people are surprised by that, from based on a lot of what I work on and the things I got up to when I was younger, we'll say. But yeah, those will always be my favorite comic books. As far as Transformers specifically, I mean, anyone who knows anything about Transformers comics knows Simon Furman. You know, so I read his comics when he finally started doing the Marvel US stuff. I mean, if it wasn't for that stuff, I would not even be into Transformers right now.
So more influenced by actually the comics than the cartoons.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, there's not many of us out there. But when I was a kid, the cartoon wasn't really on in a consistent way. I grew up in Calgary, and for some reason, they didn't put the show on in any meaningful way very consistently, so I missed like 95% of it. But I had the comic books were just my favorite thing. And so, yeah, like I said, if it wasn't for those comics, I would have lost interest in Transformers around like 1987.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for your time, and we're going to go show off more of the con.
10:30. Go!
Earth 2 number 8, James Robinson is fantastic. World's Finest number 8, George Perez and Paul Levis, fantastic. Amazing Spider-Man number 700, pissed off the whole world, but it was a great read. Hellboy in Hell number 2, Mike Mignola doing Hellboy, fantastic. Walking Dead number 106, it's always good. Happy number 3, Grant Morrison, fantastic. Glory number 29, Good Violence Times. Phantom Lady and Dollman, come on, Phantom Lady and Dollman, come on. Swamp Thing number 16, fantastic. Aww. Now, of course, one of the best things about these logo cons is there's just buttloads of comics everywhere and lots of great old classic stuff that's hard to find. And I'll show you around this con now. And of course, as I was saying, one of the best things about this con is all sorts of great vintage buys here. For instance, you've got this fantastic 75 years of DC Comics. I mean, look at this thing. This thing's remarkable. It comes with the original case. I mean, check this thing out. This is fantastic. All the characters on the side there and on the top. I mean, this is the kind of buy you're just not going to find in most comic stores, you know? Very unique to this con. And of course, he's got all sorts of great just single comics as well. Classic stuff here. Early Thor, Fantastic Four, X-Men, classic X-Men, Dead Man. You got the old Wolverine miniseries by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller. Just all sorts of great stuff, and I'll show you more right now. And great stands like this with things like Archie hardcovers, Prince Valiant, The Simpsons hardcover, Betty Page stuff, ElfQuest, and stuff like this, and stuff like this, and more stuff like this. Great action figures like Black Lightning, The Ravager, Superwoman, Batwoman, and great stuff like this original Frank Frazetta 1950s page of art. So there you have it, Vancouver Comic Con. I'd like to thank Leonard Wong, all the vendors, as well as Shaun Knowles for giving us free reign of the place. And I got to throw out there that your $4 entry fee enters you into a raffle every hour, and the prizes are always worth far more than $4. Thanks for watching.